Had to build a new computer with the AMD 7950X. This is a AM5 chip. This is one of their newer CPUs. Also used a Tomahawk motherboard and DDR5 Vengeance RAM. So I tried to go on a semi-budget here, but I had to get a good air cooler, so I got the NHD15, as these AM5 chips get pretty hot. I mean, look at this heatsink. This is awesome. And where would I be without an RTX 3080? As for my old PC, it's pretty much an old rust bucket at this point. I'm running an old Intel i7, and it is full of dust and just nasty. And when I look at this cooler now on this old PC, it looks pretty sad compared to the new one. So, but got some new SSDs to install, and basically just want to take out this motherboard and replace it with everything new in this case. So I removed the side paneling and then started removing power cables, got the power supply out, and then started removing components. So the video card and everything else had to get removed. There was so much dust in this thing, I had to vacuum as well. So I did that along the way. Had a can of air as well, just to kind of spray the dust out that was caught up in the fans and stuff like that. And then once I continued, finally got all the screws out of the motherboard, made sure to remove that safely, and I put it in an anti-static bag just to keep it safe, as I could reuse it with another computer in the future. Also made sure to remove my old hard drives so I could put them in the new PC, and then started just vacuuming and cleaning out the case. Used a can of air to spray out some of the dust that I couldn't get to. That really helped things as well. And definitely had to wear a mask while doing this, otherwise my allergies would just go insane. With the case clean, it was time to unbox the B650 Tomahawk Wi-Fi 6 motherboard. So I got that out of the packaging, made sure to get the manual via QR code, and it was time to install the AMD AM5 chip. So the AMD 7950X is pretty epic. It's a 16 core, 32 thread, 4.5 gigahertz CPU. Installing these is pretty easy. As you can see, we just lift the lever up. There's a cover on top, and we're just gonna lift that cover, and we're gonna place our CPU in our motherboard. And basically there's a gold triangle in one of the corners, and we're gonna wanna match that up with the top left corner of the pins here. So placing that in, I wore gloves because you don't want to get any grease on the CPUs. You don't want to smudge anything here, and you basically just drop it in lightly. Again, that gold corner in the top left, and then just bring the hatch back down, take your lever and push it back down and lock it into place, and the black cover there, that black plastic cover, will just pop off. And so all that is normal. And then it presses the CPU against the pins, and then you're ready to go. This is definitely nerve-wracking, but once it's done, it's a true thing of beauty. After that, I took a break to drink some Dr. Enough, which is a popular soda in this region of the world. And then I made sure to place my motherboard within my case and make sure it was screwed in on the offsets with all the included screws. Unboxing the CPU fan. The NHD15 does come with thermal paste, so you have no need to buy extra, and comes with the heatsink and 2 included fans along with cabling. Installing this beast of a heatsink is pretty straightforward on an AM5, so an AMD chipset like this. A little bit more complicated on an Intel, so be sure to read the manual. But here you just unscrew the 4 screws in the front, take out the plastic pieces that are on the motherboard, and then replace them with what's included with the heatsink itself. So overall, 4 screws, pretty straightforward. Has a little offset there. And with that offset, we're going to attach the heatsink after applying a normal amount of thermal paste, so a solid sphere, and the manual will also show you how to do that. And then we just press the CPU cooler right on top of that and then screw it in. With the NHD15, it does have thin finned edges there, and it can be sharp and it can cut you, so definitely be careful with this one. I then installed the Corsair DDR5 memory, which was introduced in 2021. So this is fairly new for me, but as memory goes, just make sure you know what slots to plug them in on your motherboard. So do follow the manual, and they only go in one way, and press them in hard enough so they snap into place. So basically there's, on each memory module on your motherboard, there's two plastic pieces that you just open up, and then you just slide in your memory into place and it'll snap in place. So just put pressure on both sides until you hear the click. It'll click in place, and that's it. So the CPU was done, the memory was done, and now it was time to install the RTX 3080 video card. You know, I really thought it wasn't going to fit with this giant air-cooled CPU cooler there, but honestly, it all fit perfectly with the motherboard and case, so everything worked out in the end. And with this card, it's pretty large, so there's also a offset bar that I installed just to help support it on the motherboard. So note to self, next time I build a computer, I'm gonna get the power supply locally. This power supply was dead on arrival. This was the EVGA 1300 G2. Looking at reviews, I saw some other people had the same issue, but you know, typically you would just take your PSU power supply out. You would make sure to use all the included cabling, and make sure you don't use any old cabling you had from your old computer. So anything from your old PSU needs to stay with that PSU, and anything from the new PSU needs to stay with it. However, maybe this just got jostled, around a lot in shipping or something, but it was a total bummer that it was DOA. So I did get a replacement through Amazon, ended up going to my local Best Buy and just buying one there just to be safe, and that ensured that I could easily return it quickly if I needed to. So I built this PC strictly for, video editing, 3D rendering, and animation, and it works flawlessly for those types of activities. Also runs all of the newest games at max settings, so there's that as well. Overall, the build process for these new processors is very straightforward, so no issues there, and the PC works flawlessly. So if you have any questions about just PC building in general, please feel free to put comments and questions below. If you found this video interesting and want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe to this channel. We are uploading videos at least every week. We do things like DIY, tech, AI, other awesome things. So please stick around for more cool content like this. Any questions, please post them below, and get out there and make it happen, people.